Good day everyone, so I'm your reporter for today, and for our lesson for today it talks about the Unit 2 and the moral development, character education, emotional literacy, and the social studies. So my topic for today, it's all about the character education. So let's talk about what is the meaning of character education. So the character education is an approach to education that incorporates the values, the ethics, emotional maturity, and sense of civics. So to many, sounds as simple, straightforward, and even is self-evident. So we have the components of character education. So let's talk about. So first, the schools create a challenging academic environment to help students to develop character. So some of time that the schools have a responsibility para i-challenge yung isang estudyante na maging mas creative and to foster the students to be more an active learner. Not just only for an active learner, but also an active having a character education. So it's not just only for the subjects, but also how we introduce for them the value and to respect each other. So second, we have the educators foster self-motivation in students. So the schools have also a responsibility to the sum of the students to foster the self-motivation. Hindi natin bibigyan ng negativities, hindi natin bibigyan ng negative vibes ang estudyante dahil gusto lang natin. So as much as possible, use the positive outcomes, use the positivity to create and more building to have a character education. Hindi nadadaan lagi sa dahas, hindi lagi nadadaan sa kung ano-ano, but of course, how we introduce for them, they can value it. So the educators also and all staff are part of an ethical learning community and adhere to the same values that they teach. So ang school, ang mga educators, ang mga teacher natin have a responsible also not just only to implement the rules, the regulations, but also to follow it. Paano to susunod ang mga estudyante if the teacher or the educators not follow it. So nagsisimula yan sa taas at susundin ng nasa baba. So the good leader must be a good follower. So next is the school foster leadership values. So sa school, mula grade 1 tayo until in college is tinuturo sa atin na kung paano maging leader. Leader sa classroom, maging classroom officer, maging presidente sa campus, maging leader sa isang activity. So the schools have a capabilities to how we engage sa leadership values. And also the schools engage of parents and other members of the community as a partners in a character building efforts. So hindi lang tayo pwede umasa sa schools, teacher natin, but also as part of the community. Kasi ang community, as much as possible, we knows the environment is have a big impact to influence the students, to influence the learners. So kapag hindi si school nakipag-engage kay parents, ginawa niya lang yun mag-isa, is mahihirapan ang school na patakbuhin kung ano nga ba yung mga nasa isip ng mga estudyante, because not all the students have the same values, have the same beliefs, have the same point of view of life. So if the parents in the community is engaging, for example, we have a general meeting, meron tayong ipapatupad ng mga general meeting kung saan is napag-uusapan yung mga suggestions, mga comments, so we can create and to provide them as much as possible na mas makakatulong for the better and for the goodness of our students. Next is the schools regularly assess their culture, the staff, and the overall success at fostering character development. So, one of the component of character education is to assess the culture. Because some of time is hindi tayo pare-parehas ng culture. You have a culture, you have beliefs na pinaniniwalaan. So, dito tayo nagkakatalo-talo because sometimes it's nagkakaroon ng misunderstanding. And for the next slide of our topic is the role of educators in character building. So, bilang educators talaga, meron tayong malaking role kung how we build the character building sa ating mga estudyante. So, there are several common objections to character education that based on some natural but misguided beliefs about the proper role of schools in developing character. Kapag tinuturuan natin yung isang estudyante, ang isang bata, is minsan nagkakaroon talaga tayo ng misunderstanding because dahil nga sa parents, meron ang mga parents na tinuturo sa kanilang mga estudyante na hindi the same na tinuturo ni teacher, so doon lang nagkakaroon ng misguided. But as much as possible, if we knows how we teach them, we know what is the background, we know how we assess them, so magkakaroon tayo dyan ng qualifications in the quality how we teach. So the people often assume that the parents rather than educators are responsible for fostering values in children. That's true. Kasi parents is the first teacher. Is the first teacher that can teach at home. So talagang ang parents ang nangunguna pagdating kung paano ba natin may foster yung values sa mga bata. Kasi sila ang unang nakakakilala, sila ang laging nakakasama, and then they have much time to how they exceed kung ano nga ba yung mga influensya or influence na nagagawa nila. So, the education provide a person with experiences open engaged to better opportunities and chances to enhance his life. So, as educators, kailangan talaga ang goal mo ma-enhance yung natututunan, yung mga learnings, mga teaching methods, strategies, and techniques na ma-outcomes ng mga bata. Kasi as much as possible that we knows na open yung gate, open-minded tayo for all the things. Kasi mga bata yan, mahirap turuan, mahirap gawin kung anong mga gusto nila because they have more short span of attention. That's why we need to handle their attention, their interest. So they are first things that the person is taught as part of the character building and becomes the first thing that you are judged upon as an individual. So if we know how they respect each other, hindi sila agad-agad mag-judge. Because nowadays, alam natin kahit bata, alam na mag-judge ng isang tao. So they must been taken how the environment, they influence them. So this will be the goal of character education is not to supplant the parents' influence but support it. Hindi na natin kailangan baguhin kung ano man yan. Basta mas nakakabuti sa ating mga learners. So, kapag naman nakakabuti, no need na baguhin. Pero if sometimes naman na nakaka-apekto na sa pagkatao and the value, how they value and respect for other people, we need to have an action. Paano nga ba natin to sasabihin? And then under this model, educators work closely with parents and the rest of the community as partners in character development. So, sa paghubog, salitang paghubog, di ba? So, kapag sinabi natin, we need to have a partnership. Pag sinabi natin partnership, hindi lang tayo magpo-focus sa isa. We need to focus at all, for the whole. Hindi lang sa side by side, but for the whole. Para naman, hindi na tayo masisiksikan dyan. Hindi na tayo malalamangan talaga. So the aim or purpose of education is to grow children like a plant, char. So dapat ang goal daw ng education is to grow children. Kailangan maging masigla, maging good, and to be productive citizens. Because as a teacher, kapag tuturuan natin sila as an early age, they grow as much as possible. That in early age, they can learn, use their knowledge, their talents. So this will be the learning skills to sustain themselves and help others whilst pushing the human race forward in areas of equality, equity, and harmony. If they have values, if we have a character building, if we have how they value things, is nakakatulong yan. hindi lang sa sarili nila, kundi sa ibang tao. So, natututunan nilang how they share their concerns, how they share their thoughts, their knowledge for the community. So, the character education is also a learning process that enables students and adults in a school community to understand, to care about, and act in accord ethical values. So, kapag sinabi natin ethical values, it is a consciousness of one person's how we tackle and how we discuss for them na ikakabuti ng sarili mo at ng ibang tao. So, this will be that include the collaborative provides a guide for selecting such programs for particular school purposes. So, the one whole school approach to development of emotional literacy based on the theories of emotional intelligence is the ruler approach. Kapag sinabi natin yung ruler approach, you have to have how we teach children to recognize, to understand, to label, to express, and to regulate emotions. And that was been according to Brocken and Criminetzer in the year 2011. So this will be how we interpret, how we express the selecting programs to the curriculum, kung paano nga ba matututunan yung isang estudyante. And then, last, we have the character education gives them the necessary tools that they will be using more often than those that they learn from other subjects. So character education is a teaching of ethical and responsible individuals by teaching them about the good values that people should have. So yung character education, hindi lang to isang subject, hindi lang to isang salita, hindi lang to isang words, but this will be to guide you to be responsible, and this is not the way how we talk about, but this is one way. This is this will be the one ways how we acknowledge one thoughts. And it's lovely to meet you, all of you. Do you have any questions? I think nothing. So that's all. Thanks a lot, and I hope that you have learned something new today about character education. So see you.